Hello, I'm Layne. This is the start of a new series. This series involves puzzles. I'm starting with puzzles that use numbers and shapes. Later there'll be puzzles about two-dimensional shapes and three-dimensional shapes. I want to start with a puzzle that I read about 20 years ago. It's about a king who wants to feel safe while visiting his hunting lodge. Here's a simple diagram of his lodge. The king sleeps here, and in the other 8 rooms he puts knights. But he has a puzzle. He's not sure how many knights he's going to need. He finally decides upon a number. He said, if I have 9 knights on each of the sides around the lodge, I'd feel safe. I could get a good night's sleep. Now, let's see. How could I do that? 9 nights. Oh, 3 rooms. Let's see. I'll just put 3 in a room. Now, when they get to the hunting lodge, the king assigns his knights to a room. You 3 go in this room, and you 3 go over here and sleep in this room, and etc. The next morning, the knights are sitting around at breakfast and grumbling a little bit, saying, I sure wish I could sort of move around more and not have to just be in the same room at night. One of the knights says, you know what? The king is a reasonable man. Let's just ask him. And the king says, sure, as long as there are 9 knights, no more, no less, on each side of me, I'm fine. Well, one of the knights gets working right away. It's starting to play around with arrangements and discovers that there can be 9 knights on each side using only 20 knights. Someone suggests that the 4 extra knights could visit the village they'd passed on the way to the lodge. So that night, when the king checks before going to bed, he finds 9 knights on each side of the lodge. The puzzle is, how was this accomplished? You can put any number, 9 or less, including 0, in a room, but the total on each side must be 9. And the total in the problem must be adding up each of the 4 sides, be 20, not 24. Now, one of the 4 men who went to the village had been playing around with the numbers too, and he had found that 28 men could be around the king, with a total of 9 on each side. He told the villagers that they had had such a good time in the village. Why not 4 villagers come and join them at the hunting lodge the next evening? So they did. And puzzle number 2 is, how were the 28 arranged? Now, before the villagers departed, a knight said he'd figured out a way that 8 villagers could join them. That is puzzle number 3. How were the 32 arranged? That night, before the 8 villagers left, a knight said he'd found a way that 12 villagers could visit. That's puzzle number 4. How were the 36 arranged? Before leaving, one of the 12 villagers said, "Why don't you come to the village the next evening?" Well, one knight said they'd been trying to figure out a way, but the most he'd found who could visit would be 6. Well, that's fine. And that's puzzle number 5. How were the 18 knights arranged? So, there are 5 puzzles. "20 knights, 28, 32, 36, 18. In the next video are the solutions and a most surprising story and the next puzzle. Bye for now.